Well, aren't you a smart cookie? You didn't just run out to your local dealership and buy a brand new small displacement sport bike, huh? Thought you would be a little bit smarter than that and consult your local forums before pulling the trigger on a bike. I'm sure this story will resonate with many of you who do own the legendary SV650, which we recently listed as the single greatest naked bike of all time. Check out that video if you haven't seen it, but let me paint a picture. You jumped around YouTube, some forums, maybe even asked some friends and families, and you keep hearing about this bike, the Suzuki SV650, the gold standard for starting out on a motorcycle. Enough power to have fun, manageable and slow speeds, and reliable Japanese build quality, but best of all, cheap as hell to pick up secondhand. Why doesn't everyone start on this bike, you ask yourself? Isn't the most optimal choice the SV650? Well, as I've said time and time again, motorcycles are emotional purchases. Just like that late night candy run at your local 7-Eleven, sometimes the heart wants what it wants. But if a bike speaks to your soul, you should get it. However, if you're the type of guy that wants the most bang for your buck, a bike that's going to teach you a ton and you'll have loads of fun riding, well then you've come to the right video to learn more about the SV650. What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite motorcycle internet content creator and your real-life dad, Polemic Shoe, Phlegm and Poo, Yammie Noob. These rhymes are getting more slanted than a pair of discount eBay race fairings. Today, we're starting up a new series where we're going to be featuring a single popular bike and doing a bit of a buyer's guide on the model so you can rest assured about your purchase decision. Let's chat about you getting an SV650. Today's video is powered by Ridge Wallets. I'm going to tell you guys more about them later, but check it out in the description for a discount code for the best minimal wallet around. And of course by all of our folks over at YammieNoob.co who support and make all these videos possible. Sign up to get exclusive content, access to our Discord server, and the chance to win some free motorcycles. Let's jump in. Where did the SV650 come from? Well, as much as our motorcycles would like you to believe it was willed out of unobtainium, fastened by a 115-year-old Japanese master and handed down like a holy tome from the burning bush of Rossi, this bike does have humble origins. The first Suzuki SV650 rolled off the line and onto dealership floors in 1999, and before then, your options for a cheaper, reliable Japanese sport bike was easy to ride was very limited. Ducati had the Monster starting in 1993, and Triumph would gladly sell you a rocket ship speed triple, but the Suzuki struck a great balance. So much so that shortly after it was launched, Kawasaki and Yamaha got to work creating their own sporty nakeds for consumers to enjoy in the form of the ER6F and the XJ6. So, what were the specs on this machine when it launched? The 1999 Suzuki SV650 was powered by a 645cc liquid-cooled 90-degree V-twin engine, making about 64 horsepower and 42 foot-pounds of torque. It had 41mm non-adjustable standard forks with a preload adjustable shock in the back. The lack of adjustability means that you'll have to set your preload in the rear with your rate, but that's all you're going to get out of it. It also came equipped with a 120/70/17 up front and a smaller than usual 160/60/17 out back. Modern competitors like the MT-07 come equipped with a 180/55/17 out back, which is the standard sport bike tire size today. Wet weight was quoted right at 420 pounds ALMAO, and it could rip a 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds and complete a quarter mile in 11.8. Yes, welcome to motorcycles, where a beginner bike can stomp out supercar 0 to 60 in quarter mile times. The first generation naked SV650 from 1999 to 2003 is the one that everyone thinks of when we say SV650. It had that cool exposed frame, a lovely V-twin soundtrack, and a round headlight for some classic motorcycle vibes. And yet, with the foot pegs in the right riding position, a comfortable yet sporty stance, the SV650 would soon become a favorite for budding sport bike riders that lauded its predictable and well-mannered style. The Suzuki has been sold from the start as a naked and semi-naked. The half-faired model comes with clip-ons for more aggressive riding position, whereas the naked comes with bars for a more relaxed, street-oriented riding style. But to be honest, the two bikes have been modded so much in the past 2 decades that they're literally like Mr. Potato Heads, and you can swap out parts really easily on these bikes. If you want a half-faired SV with bars or a naked one with clip-ons, it's a pretty simple change. The first generation SVs comes with carbureted fuel management system as opposed to newer and headache-free fuel-injected systems. Although it looks cool and is the OG first-gen SV, I wouldn't want to fuss with the carb and age of the bike overall. I'd recommend skipping the first gen, but let's hear how that carbed V-twin sounds. classic tones from the V-twin. In 2003, Suzuki updated the SV with loads of changes. They put on new pressure cast aluminum truss frame, bodywork, swing arm with revised rear brake caliper mounting, exhaust, a digital speedometer display, and electronic fuel injection to replace that carb. This makes the bike much closer to modern bikes that we're used to nowadays. So speaking of more modern additions, let's take a quick break to chat about your wallet. Much like the first gen SV650, if you're rocking some old bulky leather wallet in 2020, people might be wondering what exactly is up with you. Are you going for some retro dad look? Are you such a hipster that you have to have a tri-fold with pictures of someone else's family? Whose family is that? Are you gonna eat them for dinner later? Only a sociopath would carry a wallet that looks like that. So while you're getting a modern second gen SV650, get yourself a wallet to match too. Fans of the Yam get 10% off their order using the code Yammie Noob at checkout and clicking the link down below. Ridge makes the finest in minimal wallets, and they have like a trillion 5-star reviews. They enlisted dead souls from centuries past to go on their site and drop the reviews. We shipped them back in time so they too could have a badass minimal wallet in the 1700s. In fact, look closely at this photo during 1918. You can see a Ridge wallet right there. Look, there it is. Crazy how that works. So click the link below, use code YammieNoob, and gets you the finest wallet for 10% off. Note, Ridge Wallet cannot make you into a time traveler. Yammie Noob is a facetious prick who uses his ad breaks to wander into some weird vision quest while talking about a mid-2000s sport bike. So, the addition of fuel injection makes the second-gen SV650 my personal pick for newer riders. Along with all the other changes, you're getting what's basically a modern bike, albeit a little bit on the old side. A 2007 SV650 is 13 years old at this point, so it's probably being annoying on YouTube, watching PewDiePie videos, and calling everyone a simp without understanding what it means. In 2017, Suzuki revitalized the SV650 after a few weird years of producing the ugly Gladius, which is technically an SV, but not really as well. We'll talk about it later at some point. And they brought it back with a bang. They bumped the power output to 75 ponies, torque went up to 47 foot-pounds, and they made over 50 changes to improve the bike and keep up with the competition, namely one Yamaha MT-07. Actually owned a 2018 Suzuki SV650 last year as one of our giveaway motorcycles, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I have loads of videos up on my channel going over mods, reviewing it, riding it, and more, so if you're thinking about getting one of those, definitely check it out. Also, that bike is now living a happy life in Grand Prairie, Texas, where the winner lives. If you're watching, John, congrats again. So let's say you've decided on a second-gen SV, you are a calculating and methodical person, and it is the best decision. What should you look out for? Well, unfortunately, even though the second-generation SV650 is objectively a much better bike than the first-gen, it does have a few issues with it, namely a problem with oil starvation if you hold wheelies on it. Like most bikes, when you're purchasing used, you need to keep an eye for previous abuse from the owner. It's very difficult to tell if the previous owner liked pulling wheelies unless you notice a busted-up rear end along with blown fork seals, but this is more of an issue for SV650s and other bikes. Basically, if it was kept on two wheels, these are almost bulletproof from the research I did. The first generation SV had some minor problems with the regulator/rectifier, and other owners have reported the cam chain tensioners to be a weak spot as well, but overall, the SV, much like the Hayabusa engine, is damn near unkillable. Since there's not many mechanical problems that can arise from SV650 ownership, let's discuss some common mods you're going to want to do to an SV650 to make it even better. The first thing you'll want to do to your SV, which it probably already has, but if it doesn't, is to get a set of pipes on there to hear that awesome 90-degree V-twin sing. This is a very sweet exhaust note from this engine. It is worlds apart from the lawnmower buzz of your buddy's small displacement parallel twin. The next thing you must do is suspension work. Even if you're not planning on tracking it, let's say you just want an easygoing canyon carving bike, suspension work is a must on these, so let's talk about what that will entail. Let's start with the rear shock because that's going to be a way easier topic to handle. The only way to upgrade or improve your rear suspension is to swap to a better rear shock. There's no way to upgrade or change anything in the existing unit, and is much easier to simply slap in a new rear shock. SV Rider Forum gurus swear by the Kawasaki ZX-10 rear shock as a common mod to do, but if you're gutted about swapping a Kawi part on your Suzuki, Rycore makes an awesome rear shock setup that is custom built for your weight and riding style. Penske is also a go-to for rear suspension, but it's more of a true blue go fast race part. The thing we're trying to solve for here is having adjustability, which the rear shock does not except for preload, a spring that is correct for your weight and is of higher quality than the existing unit. Now let's move to the front of the bike. Those 41mm utilitarian front forks that Suzuki gives you with no preload, no compression, and no rebound adjustability. There are several solutions for these, all of which will range in complexity and cost. There are 3 paths for you. You can change the cartridge internals of the existing fork, you can do what's known as emulators, or you can swap the forks from a more sophisticated motorcycle like the GSXR 600 or the 750s. For the sake of simplicity and to not overload you with information, the cheapest solution is the emulator kit, but that's not going to get you very far. The second solution is to completely swap out your fork internals from the stock dampening rods to cartridges for a more modern solution while still utilizing your existing fork tubes. And the last, much more drastic solution, but honestly it might be cheaper depending on how you set it up, is to swap the whole front end from another motorcycle like the GSXR so you get those fancy forks they come with. Each solution comes with varying degrees of cost and complexity, but I wanted to present them to you so you knew what to expect when the time came to modify the bike, which if you're a beginner rider, you might not ever feel the need to do so. As an experienced motorcyclist myself, within the first couple hundred miles of owning the 2018 SV650, I definitely wanted to do something about the suspension. The last essential mod I'd recommend is a great set of tank grips. I thoroughly believe tank grips make your riding experience more predictable, more comfortable, and easy. So slap a set of tank grips on your SV and go have some fun. So, to sum up here, the SV650 is truly as awesome of a platform as everyone says it is. It is not just hype, believe me. These are rock solid machines that will provide ample amount of fun and give you years of reliable, awesome motorcycling to enjoy. You can start off on an SV, turn it into a commuter, maybe turn it into a track bike later in life, and just continue to enjoy it with regular maintenance because keeping it on 2 wheels, you can still wheelie it, but just don't hold the balance point too much. And with a few key mods, it is an absolutely awesome bike. Thanks for checking out this video, guys. If it's your first time on this channel, I'd appreciate it if you drop us a like and subscribed. We put out daily informative, fun, and meme-laden content for you guys, and we even give away free bikes. I've given away 8 motorcycles so far, and we've got 3 more coming up, and even more bikes coming up here in a little bit. There's a surprise coming in May, so definitely stay tuned for that. If you like what we do here, consider supporting us over at yammie.co to get access to our Discord, which has the best community of motorcyclists on the internet. It's a great place to come and hang out. Thanks again to The Ridge for supporting us. Check out that link below and use the code Yammie to get 10% off. I'll see you in the next one. Fact: in Switzerland, it is illegal to own 1 guinea pig. This is because guinea pigs are social animals and they're considered victims of abuse if they are alone. Goodbye.